A man never realizes what he had until he knows he can never have it again. Let that sink in. Not when you cry, not when you beg, not when you explain yourself 1,000 times, hoping he'll finally understand your worth. No, he only realizes when you're gone, when you vanish, when he reaches out and finds nothing, when the comfort of knowing you're still there is ripped away from him. That's when he feels it. But by then, it's too late. You still think he'll wake up and realize what he lost? You still believe that if you just show him more love, if you just hold on a little longer, if you just prove that you're different, he'll finally change. Wake up. He's playing with you, and you're letting him. Every unanswered text, every last-minute excuse, every breadcrumb he tosses your way, you eat it up, hoping this time, maybe this time, he means it. But he doesn't. And deep down, you know it. So before we go any further, do me a favor. Press the like button and subscribe, because today, I'm tearing down every lie you've been telling yourself. Today, I'm dragging you out of the delusion that he'll change. Today, I'm making sure you never let a man play with you again. No more excuses, no more waiting, no more wasting your life on a man who only keeps you around for convenience. By the end of this, you won't be the same woman who walked in here. You'll be stronger, colder, untouchable. Let's get into it. And welcome back to the channel. And if this is your first time here, get ready, because this is where you wake up. This is where you finally see the truth about men, about relationships, and most importantly, about yourself. Tell me something. If you were at a store and they were handing out designer handbags for free, would people fight to get one? No, because it's free. It's too easy. There's no urgency. But the second that same bag goes behind glass, locked away, with a price tag that says, "Only the highest bidder gets me," suddenly everyone wants it. That's you. You have been handing out your love for free. No standards, no price, no boundaries. And you wonder why he doesn't value you? He doesn't have to. He knows you're always there, waiting, hoping, forgiving. You think he's confused? You think he's struggling with his emotions? No, he's not confused. He's not torn. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's keeping you on the hook while he explores other options. And you? You're sitting there, giving him unlimited access to your heart, hoping that one day he'll choose you. But let me ask you, when has a man ever truly changed because a woman begged him to? When has a man ever suddenly woken up and thought, "Oh, wow, I've been treating her like garbage. Let me change everything about myself overnight"? Never, because men don't fear losing what they think will always be there. A woman on a forum once shared her story. 5 years. That's how long she gave to a man who never fully committed. 5 years of waiting, forgiving, giving him space while he did whatever he wanted. And the moment she finally had enough, the moment she disappeared without a word, the moment she stopped chasing, he came crawling back. "I miss you. I realize now how much you meant to me." But by then, she was gone. She had built a life so good that his regret meant nothing. That's the goal. Not to make him miss you, not to make him suffer, but to reach a point where you genuinely don't care anymore. So say it with me. I am done waiting for a man who plays games. Drop it in the comments. Say it to yourself. Say it to the universe. Say it until you believe it. Because what's coming next? It's going to teach you exactly how to make him regret playing games with you in a way that he will never, ever forget. Trust me, my dear, he will feel it. 1. The ugly truth. He's not confused, he just doesn't care. So, my dear, You still don't see it, do you? You still think he's confused. You still believe he's struggling with his emotions. No, he's not confused. He's not struggling. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's keeping you on the hook while he explores other options. He's giving you just enough to keep you hopeful, just enough to make sure you don't walk away completely. And you're falling for it. Every single time. You think you're special. You think your love is different. You think if you just love him hard enough, he'll finally see your worth? Stop it. Men don't value what they don't fear losing. And right now, you're free. You're easy. You are available whenever he decides he wants you. Let me give you a reality check. Imagine a man has a dog. He loves it, sure, but he knows it will never leave, no matter how much he ignores it. Does he cherish it? No. He takes it for granted. He assumes it will always be there. That's you, loyal, always waiting, always hoping, and he knows it. So tell me, why would he change? Why would he suddenly wake up and realize you're the one, when you've already shown him that no matter what he does, you will still be there? And before you start making excuses, let me shut them down right now. But he has issues. He just needs time. No. If he truly cared, he wouldn't make you question his love. If a man is ready to commit, he commits. If he's not, it's because he doesn't want to. Simple. But we have history. So what? People burn down houses they lived in for years. Just because you've been through things together doesn't mean he values you. But he says he loves me. Words mean nothing. Love is a verb. It's what he does, not what he says. A man who loves you does not make you feel like an option. Let me give you a real example. A woman shared her story on a forum. She spent 6 years with a man who was not ready to commit. She was patient. She supported him through everything. She forgave his neglect, his lies, his distance. She thought she was proving her love. Then one day, she walked away. She stopped waiting. She stopped explaining. And guess what? 3 months later, he proposed to someone else. Let that sink in. Why? Because she was never his priority. She was just an option he kept around for convenience while he searched for something better. And when she finally removed herself from the equation, he replaced her like she was nothing. And that hurts, doesn't it? It burns. It makes you sick to your stomach. But you need to feel this pain. You need to let it sink into your bones, because this is the moment everything changes. You can sit in this pain, crying over a man who was never yours to begin with. You can let it destroy you, make you bitter, make you afraid to ever love again. Or you can use it. Because let me tell you something, pain is power if you know how to use it. You think strong women are born that way? No. They are built through heartbreak. They are built through betrayal. They are built through nights spent crying over men who never deserved them. But at some point, they make a choice. And that's where you are right now. You have a choice. You can keep chasing a man who doesn't value you, who plays games, who keeps you waiting, who makes you question your worth. Or you can rise from this. You can let this be the moment you finally say, enough. Because the truth is, it was never about him. It was about you. It was about your fear of being alone, your fear of starting over, your fear that maybe, just maybe, no one else will love you. But that's a lie they fed you, a lie that keeps women trapped in miserable relationships, waiting for men who will never change. Society told you to be patient. Society told you that love means sacrifice. Society told you that a good woman waits. And that is the biggest scam of all. Because while you're sitting there waiting, he's out there living. While you're crying over him, he's enjoying his freedom. While you're overanalyzing his every word, he's texting other women, making plans, moving forward. And you're wasting your best years waiting for a man who is not losing a single minute of sleep over you. So when are you going to wake up? When are you going to stop begging for love that should have been given freely? When are you going to stop making excuses for a man who would replace you in a heartbeat? Because here's the truth. He will never regret losing you until he knows he can never have you again. And that's exactly what you're going to give him. You're going to rise from this pain. You're going to rebuild yourself. You're going to become so untouchable, so powerful, so elevated that by the time he realizes what he lost, he won't even be able to reach you. So say it with me. I am done being an option. Drop it in the comments. Say it to yourself. Say it to the universe. Say it until you believe it. Because what's coming next? I'm about to show you how to make him feel the loss. How to make him realize, too late, that he played himself. Trust me, my dear, he will feel it. 2. How men really think. The psychology of his games. So, my dear, let me ask you something, and I need you to be brutally honest with yourself. Why are you still chasing a man who doesn't want you? Why are you still sitting there, wasting your time, waiting for him to wake up and suddenly realize your worth? Why are you convincing yourself that if you just love him harder, he'll finally choose you? Do you know how men actually think? Or are you still clinging to the fairy tales they sold you? Because here's the truth. Men don't value what they don't have to work for. You ever notice how people treat a cheap purse? It gets thrown around, left on the floor, stuffed into lockers, treated like nothing. But a designer purse? That gets locked away, placed carefully in a dust bag, protected like gold. Be the designer purse. Right now, you are the cheap purse. Too available, too easy, too forgiving. He doesn't have to fight for you. He doesn't have to earn you. And because of that, he does not respect you. And before you start crying, before you start saying, "But he told me he loves me, but he's just confused, but he's scared of commitment," stop. Men are not confused. They are not scared. They are not struggling with their emotions the way you want to believe they are. They know exactly what they're doing. And what he's doing, he's keeping you around as his backup plan while he explores other options. Let that sink in. Because if he really loved you, if he really wanted you, he wouldn't risk losing you. He wouldn't string you along. He wouldn't give you excuses. He wouldn't make you feel like you are constantly waiting for him to decide whether or not you are enough. He keeps you there, just close enough so you don't leave, just far enough so he doesn't have to commit. He likes knowing you're always an option. That's why he doesn't chase you. That's why he doesn't give you the relationship you want. Because he doesn't have to. You're right there, waiting, hoping, begging. He's comfortable knowing you will never actually walk away. So tell me, why the hell would he change? Men only fear losing what they know they can't get back. Right now, you are not a loss. You are a convenience. And let me prove it to you with a real-life example. A woman on a forum once shared her story. She was in love with a man who ghosted her. No explanation, no goodbye. He just disappeared. And for 6 months, nothing. Silence, no texts, no calls, no signs that he even cared she was gone. But the exact moment, she posted a picture with another man. Boom. Text message. "Hey, stranger." Why? Because he suddenly missed her? Because he suddenly realized she was the love of his life? No. Because now she was a challenge again. She wasn't just sitting there waiting. She wasn't desperate for his attention anymore. And that made him panic. Because men don't want what's easily available. They want what they think they can't have. And the moment you start moving on, the moment you start glowing, the moment you finally stop waiting for him, that's when he starts noticing. But listen to me carefully. That moment when he comes crawling back, when he sends that weak, pathetic, "Hey, how have you been?" text, that is not love. That is not regret. That is not a man who has changed. That is a man who just realized his toy got taken away. That's all you've ever been to him. A toy he could pick up and put down whenever he wanted. And every time you reply, every time you entertain his little games, you prove to him that you're still the same girl who will always be there. So tell me, my dear, how long are you going to let yourself be played? How long are you going to sit there, overanalyzing his every word, reading into his every text, trying to decode his mixed signals, when the truth is as clear as day? He is not afraid of losing you, because you have never actually left. But that changes today, because here's what's going to happen next. You are going to stop being the woman he keeps on a shelf while he explores his options. You are going to stop being the one who waits, who hopes, who prays for a man to finally choose her. You are going to take every ounce of love, every ounce of energy, every bit of power you have been pouring into him, and pour it into yourself instead. Because the day you stop being available is the day he finally realizes what he lost. So say it with me. I refuse to be his backup plan. Drop it in the comments. Say it to yourself. Say it to the universe. Say it until you believe it. Because what's coming next? I'm about to show you how to use silence as your deadliest weapon. How to disappear so completely that when he finally wakes up, when he finally regrets losing you, he won't even be able to reach you. And trust me, my dear, he will feel it. 3. The Dark Stoic move. Silence is your superpower. So, my dear, don't sit there and tell me you already understand the power of silence. Don't lie to me, because if you did, I wouldn't still see you checking his social media, rereading old messages, waiting for him to come back. You still want closure. You still want an explanation. You still want him to wake up one day and finally say, "I was wrong. I love you. I choose you." But he won't. Because men don't regret losing a woman while she's still talking. They regret her when she's silent. But you don't know how to be silent. You're still breaking your own heart by keeping the door open just a little, by just checking if he watched your story, by answering his weak little, "Hey, how have you been?" text, by giving him the comfort of knowing you're still there. And let me tell you something, as long as he knows you're there, he will never feel your loss. So no, you don't understand silence. Because silence isn't just not texting him. Silence is erasing him from your life like he never existed. Let me spell it out for you. How to make him feel your absence. Number 1, stop reacting. No more angry texts. No more, "I just need to understand why you did this." No more, "I deserve an explanation." You don't. The only explanation you need is this. He did not love you enough to choose you. That's it. That's the answer. Number 2, disappear completely. And I mean completely. Not just blocking his number. Delete him. Delete his messages. Delete his photos. Delete the fake future you built in your head about him. Because every time you go back to look at that one sweet message he sent you months ago, every time you replay the good times in your mind, you are keeping yourself stuck. And don't you dare say, "But blocking him is childish." No. You know what's childish? Waiting for a man who already made it clear he doesn't want you. Number 3. Give him space to miss you. And this is the hardest part, because you don't want to give him space. You think if you stay in his life, even just a little bit, he won't forget about you. That's the biggest lie you tell yourself, because the truth is, he already forgot about you while you were still there. But the second you disappear, the second he realizes he no longer has access to you, that's when it starts to bother him. And don't expect it to happen overnight. At first, he won't care. He'll go on living his life, feeling free, thinking, she'll be back. She always comes back. But then a week goes by, then 2, then a month, and suddenly the silence gets loud. And trust me, my dear, men don't handle silence well. Want proof? Let me tell you a story. A woman once wrote on a forum about her toxic relationship. 4 years. That's how long she let a man play with her heart. Every time he disappeared, she waited. Every time he came back, she forgave him. And every time, she convinced herself that this time, maybe he really does love me. But one day, she just stopped. No warning, no text, no goodbye message. She didn't scream, didn't cry, didn't beg. She just disappeared. At first, nothing happened. Then weeks passed, then months. And one night, completely unannounced, he showed up at her house, crying, saying all the things she had once begged him to say. "I miss you. I was stupid. You're the best thing that ever happened to me." But do you know what she realized in that moment? He didn't love her. He just hated that she finally stopped giving a damn. That's the truth you need to hear. They don't miss you. They miss the power they had over you. They miss knowing that whenever they felt bored, lonely, or insecure, you were right there, ready to feed their ego. But now they're forced to sit with themselves. Now they don't have you as an emotional punching bag. Now they don't have access to the comfort of knowing you'll always pick up. And that is what makes them regret losing you. Not your tears, not your explanations, not your love letters, not your one last conversation hoping he'll finally understand. Silence. That is what breaks a man, because men do not process loss in real time. Women feel the pain immediately. When he pulls away, when he starts acting distant, when he stops making you feel special, you feel it instantly. That's why you cry, why you overthink, why you feel like you can't breathe. But men feel the loss in hindsight. At first, they feel free. They think they made the right choice. They're out partying, talking to new women, acting like life is better without you. But then they start noticing the silence. They start feeling the emptiness. They start checking their phone, expecting your name to pop up, but it doesn't. And that's when the regret sets in. That's when they start wondering, wait, has she moved on? That's when they start stalking your social media, looking for signs that you're still thinking about them. That's when they start sending weak, pathetic breadcrumbs just to see if you'll still respond. And when you don't, that's when it truly hits. Because for the first time, he realizes he actually lost you. So, my dear, let me ask you one last time. Are you ready to stop lying to yourself? Are you ready to stop pretending that he just needs time to figure out his feelings? Are you ready to stop chasing a man who does not value you? Because if you are, then shut up. Go silent. Stay silent. Let him feel what it's like to live without you. Say it with me. I am done explaining myself. Drop it in the comments. Say it to yourself. Say it to the universe. Say it until you believe it. Because what's coming next? I'm about to show you how to glow up so powerfully that by the time he realizes what he lost, you won't even care. And trust me, my dear, he will feel it. Fourth, stop begging. Start winning. So, my dear, what the hell are you still doing? Why are you still sitting here, clinging to false hope, waiting for a man who never prioritized you? Do you honestly think he's sitting there missing you while he's out living his best life? No. He's fine. He's sleeping just fine at night. He's not crying over you. He's not thinking about what he lost. And do you know why? Because he thinks you'll still be there when he gets bored. That's what you've taught him. That no matter how badly he treats you, no matter how much he neglects you, no matter how many times he chooses himself over you, you will always be there, waiting. And you think that makes you loyal? No, it makes you a fool. You are sitting there in pain, hoping he'll suddenly have a realization, hoping one day he'll wake up and think, wow, she's been there through everything. I should treat her better. But let me tell you something. Men don't work like that. Men do not change for the woman they take for granted. They change for the woman they fear losing. And right now, he doesn't fear losing you because he's already lost you 100 times before and you've always come back. So tell me, what exactly is his incentive to change? Nothing. Let me give you a reality check. A woman once shared her story. She was in love with a man who cheated on her. For years, she caught him over and over again, and every single time she forgave him. She convinced herself that if she just gave him more time, if she just proved her love, he would stop. And then one day, she finally had enough. She left. No warning, no more chances. She walked away for good. And guess what? 1 year later, he was married to someone else, treating her like a queen, posting pictures, holding hands in public, doing all the things he never did for the woman who stood by him for years. Why? Because he never feared losing the first woman. He knew she would always be there, no matter what he did. But the second woman, he knew she wouldn't tolerate it. He knew that if he wanted to keep her, he had to change. And let me tell you the hardest truth of all. That woman could have been you. But you stayed too long. You waited too long. You tolerated too much. And instead of becoming the woman he had to change for, you became the woman who made it too easy for him to stay the same. And you wonder why you're in pain? You wonder why he never valued you. Because you never made him earn you. Let me make this crystal clear. A man will only value you when he knows he can lose you. But you never actually left. Maybe physically, yes. Maybe you blocked him for a few days. Maybe you tried to move on. Maybe you even went on a few dates. But mentally, you never let him go. You're still thinking about him. You're still wondering if he'll come back. You're still checking his social media. You're still looking for signs that maybe, just maybe, he's finally realized your worth. And do you know what that tells me? You still don't get it. Because it's not about whether he realizes your worth. It's about whether you realize it. And the moment you truly do, you stop waiting. You stop hoping. You stop begging. Because you finally understand that you never had to prove your worth in the first place. So tell me, when are you going to start winning? Because winning isn't about getting him back. Winning isn't about making him regret losing you. Winning is when you genuinely don't care anymore. Winning is when you wake up one day and he's not the first thing on your mind. Winning is when you stop needing validation from a man who was never good enough for you. Winning is when you look at the version of yourself who was begging for his love and you don't even recognize her anymore. That's when you've won. And that's exactly where you need to get. Because the moment you do, he will feel it. Not because you told him. Not because you tried to make him jealous. Not because you posted thirst traps on Instagram hoping he'd see. But because you disappeared. Because suddenly his backup plan is gone. The comfort of knowing he could always come back is gone. The woman who would always answer, always forgive, always give him one more chance, she's gone. And that's when he panics. Because for the first time, he doesn't know where he stands with you. And men, they hate uncertainty. Because now he starts wondering, is she really done? Has she met someone else? Did I actually lose her? And that uncertainty, it will haunt him. Because he expected you to wait. He expected you to still be there, crying, hoping, waiting for his return. But when he finally turns around and you're not there anymore, that's when he feels the full weight of what he lost. But by then, you won't care. Because by then, you will be too busy winning. So say it with me. I refuse to wait for someone who never chose me. Drop it in the comments. Say it to yourself. Say it to the universe. Say it until it becomes a part of you. Because what's coming next? I'm about to show you how to level up so powerfully that by the time he realizes what he lost, you will be completely out of reach. And trust me, my dear, he will feel it. 5. The glow-up revenge. Level up in silence. So, my dear, you think the best revenge is making him jealous. You think if he sees you with another man, he'll suddenly wake up and realize what he lost? You think if you drop little hints, post sad quotes, or make yourself look just a little harder to get, he'll finally come running? That's not revenge. That's desperation. Because the second he knows you're still trying to get a reaction out of him, he knows he still has control. He knows that he still lives in your head. And as long as you're thinking about him, crying over him, plotting ways to make him miss you, he's already won. But you're about to flip the script. Because you don't win by proving your worth. You win by becoming untouchable. That's right. You don't need to tell him what he lost. You don't need to remind him how good you were. You don't need to sit around hoping he regrets his choices. Because by the time he realizes what he lost, you will be so far ahead that he won't even be able to reach you. That's how you make a man suffer. Because men don't feel regret when they lose you. They feel regret when they realize they can never have you again. And that starts now. You were a free trial, easy access, no effort required. He got all the benefits without ever having to commit. But guess what? The trial is over. Now you're a VIP membership, access denied. And let me tell you something. Men always want what they can't have. So it's time to become a woman he can never touch again. You start with your body. Not for him, not for validation, but for you. You think feeling attractive is about getting attention from men. No, it's about looking in the mirror and seeing power staring back at you. It's about knowing that every time he pictures you in his mind, he's remembering the old version of you, the one who begged, the one who cried, the one who would have done anything for him. But that woman doesn't exist anymore. Now, you are fire. You are strength. You are a woman he no longer deserves. And when he finally does see you, whether it's a picture, a random run-in, or through mutual friends, it's going to hit him like a punch to the gut. Because suddenly, he's going to realize that the woman he once took for granted, The woman he thought would always be waiting in the background is now out of his league. And that's just the beginning. You don't just level up your looks, you level up your mind. Because if you think a glow-up is just about changing your appearance, you're missing the point. A truly untouchable woman isn't just beautiful, she's unstoppable. You start reading, you start learning, you start expanding your mind beyond the tiny world you built around him. You develop new interests, new skills, new passions. Because let me tell you something, a woman who is constantly growing, constantly evolving, constantly becoming more than she was yesterday, that is the most dangerous woman alive. Because now, he can't predict you, he can't manipulate you, he can't pull you back into his games because you are no longer the same person who fell for them. And you know what scares a man more than anything? A woman who no longer needs him. That's why you level up your money. A woman with her own money, her own goals, her own success. That is a woman no man can control. That is a woman who makes her own rules. That is a woman who doesn't tolerate nonsense because she doesn't have to. You think rich men are powerful? No. A financially independent woman is the most powerful force on this planet because she doesn't need a provider. She doesn't need to stay in situations that drain her. She doesn't settle for men who waste her time because she is too busy building a life she loves. And that's what you're going to do. You are going to become so successful, so confident, so completely self-sufficient that by the time he finally looks back and realizes what he lost, you will be in a world he can never enter. And that's when it will hit him. Because the biggest regret in a man's life isn't losing a woman he took for granted. It's watching her become everything he ever wanted when it's too late. And do you know what the best part is? By the time he finally wakes up, by the time he realizes how deeply he messed up, you won't even care. Because you will be too busy enjoying the life you built for yourself. So say it with me. I am leveling up so high, he can never reach me again. Drop it in the comments. Say it to yourself. Say it to the universe. Say it until it becomes your truth. Because what's coming next? I'm about to show you how to make him watch from the sidelines as you rise, and trust me, my dear, he will feel it. 6. When he comes back, and he will. So, my dear, you think he's not coming back? You think he's just moved on, living his best life, forgetting you ever existed? No, that's not how this works. He's not worried right now because he still thinks you're his. He still believes that whenever he feels like it, whenever he gets bored, whenever he runs out of other options, you will be there. That's why he's not panicking yet. But here's what happens when you go silent for real, when you don't just take a break from him, but erase him completely. When he realizes you're actually gone, that's when it starts. First, he gets curious. He wonders why you haven't reached out, why you aren't reacting, why you aren't checking for him. So he checks your stories, maybe even accidentally likes an old picture just to see if you'll notice. Then he sends that weak little, "Hey, how have you been?" text. Not because he misses you, not because he finally understands your worth, but because he needs to know if he still has access to you. And here's where most women screw it up. The second they see his name pop up, they get excited. Maybe this means he misses me. Maybe he's finally realized he loves me. Maybe this is my chance. So they respond. And just like that, he wins. Because now he knows. He knows you're still his. He knows you were waiting. He knows he still has control. And what does he do? He disappears again, because he never actually wanted you back. He just wanted to know if he could still have you. So let me make this clear. Do not reply. Silence is your weapon. The moment you respond, you hand him the power back. The moment you engage, you prove that he still lives in your mind. And that is exactly what he was testing for. A woman once shared her story. She was in love with a man who betrayed her over and over again. When she finally had enough, she went completely silent. No closure, no goodbye, nothing. For 8 months, she vanished. And then, one day, he showed up at her job, begging, crying, saying all the things she once prayed he would say. But do you know what the difference was? She didn't care anymore, because by the time he realized what he lost, she had already moved on. That is the power of silence, not just making him miss you, not just making him regret, but making sure that when he finally wakes up, it's too late. Say it with me. I refuse to be his second chance. Drop it in the comments. Say it to yourself. Say it to the universe. Because what's coming next? I'm about to show you how to make sure he never stops regretting losing you. And trust me, my dear, he will feel it. 7. The final power move. Make sure he can never have you again. So, my dear, you think making him jealous is the answer. You think if he sees you out with another man, it'll finally hit him. You think if he watches you glow up, he'll come crawling back, begging for another chance. That's not power. That's still playing his game. And let me tell you something. You don't win by making him jealous. You win by making him irrelevant. Because the second he realizes you don't care anymore, the second he sees that his existence no longer affects you, that's when the real regret kicks in. Not when you post pictures trying to get his attention. Not when you throw little breadcrumbs his way, hoping he notices. But when he realizes he could show up at your door tomorrow and it wouldn't change a damn thing. That's how you make sure he regrets you forever. You never take him back. No, let's talk. No, maybe we can try again. No, I just need closure. No, closure is seeing him for the weak, inconsistent, selfish man he always was, and walking away for good. You make your life 10 times better than when he knew you. Not because you want him to see it, but because you deserve it. You build yourself into the kind of woman he never deserved in the first place. You focus on your money, your goals, your body, your mind. And when people mention your name, they don't talk about him. They talk about you. And yes, let him watch. Let him lurk on your page. Let him hear about how well you're doing from other people. Let him sit in the silence, wondering if you ever even think about him. But never, ever let him have access again. Because he had his chance. He played his games. He took you for granted. And now he can suffer while you rise. Drop it in the comments. I am done with men who play games. Say it. Own it. Live it. Because what's coming next? I'm about to show you how to make sure no man ever takes you for granted again. And trust me, my dear, he will feel it. If he didn't cherish you when you were there, he doesn't deserve you now that you're gone. Let that be the lesson you never forget. No more waiting, no more hoping, no more looking back. You are rising now. By the time he realizes what he lost, you will have outgrown him completely. And that is the real win. And hit like, subscribe, and remember, the woman who walks away is the woman who wins. Drop it in the comments. I choose me. Say it. Own it. Live it. Because what's coming next, he will feel it.